century. Portuguese, Dutch, British, and French traders needed workers for their plantations around the world. Instead of capturing slaves themselves, European traders often traded with powerful African rulers for slaves. To find slaves for trade, the African rulers would have their soldiers kidnap people from other tribes in slave raids. The soldiers would take their captives to huge coastal trading posts where European traders would purchase them with rum, tobacco, metalwork, weapons, and gunpowder.
The transatlantic slave trade was one of the most profitable businesses in the world. For nearly 400 years, almost everyone involved made a fortune from the misery of people whose names remain forever lost in time. Slave ships made roughly 39,000 voyages from Africa to the Americas. They were instrumental to the birth of commerce and wealth in the New World. Few cared about the millions of African men, women, and children shipped across the Atlantic to fuel that commerce with their labor in the largest forced migration in human history.
forced labor, poverty, and ongoing humiliation. Under the law, slaves were considered to be the property of the plantation owner, just like his farm animals. If you were a slave, you could be sold at any time and your family torn apart. If the ongoing misery of your life made you want to run away, you knew you would be hunted down and, if caught, brought back to the plantation, where you might be whipped or forced to wear a slave's collar like this one, that had bells on it, so the owner's men could easily find you if you tried to escape again. In the South, it was illegal for slaves to receive an education, to marry, to vote, to own property, to testify in court, or even to earn their freedom through work. There were two basic types of slaves on plantations. The luckiest were the house slaves, who took care of the owner's house and family, while the field slaves worked in the fields from sunrise to sunset with just one 15-minute break a day. To eat, slaves were given meager rations, mostly of cornmeal, pork, and molasses. And every year, slaves received one new set of winter and summer clothes and a new blanket. Most slaves shared their small cabins with 10 to 12 people and slept on straw piled on a dirt floor. And so the lives of the slaves who did the work on plantations were filled with unending hardship, suffering, and poverty, in order that those who enslaved them could enjoy lives of comfort, luxury, and ease.